Hey everybody, it's the Imaginarium. I am your host for today, the horror nerd Todd. Scott Colbert, our usual host, is not with us, so I have hereby hijacked our broadcast for today. Scott has no idea what I'm up to, so I'm sure he'll be pleasantly surprised. My partner in crime today is a frequent collaborator with Scott on another podcast that I can't even remember the name of because I don't care about it. Everybody, let's welcome Jerry Janda. What's up, Jerry?
I'm sorry, who is this?
Huh?
Nothing else. After my balls about my podcast, I thought I'd return the favor. Joking aside, it's so refreshing to be doing a podcast with a true professional for a change.
Really? Who would that be?
Well, relatively speaking.
I thought maybe there was somebody else on that I didn't know about.
No. It's just that Scott's not on, so we have that going for us.
Exactly. So speaking of Scott, apparently he is moving into a new place, which is why he's not on today. And I've been speculating where he's moving to. I'm guessing it's one of these old age assisted living places, so in case he can't dress himself in the morning, somebody can come and help him. That's my guess anyway.
I thought it was the sanitarium. They finally found that crawl space with all the dead young boys in it. But I guess it's a coin flip. It's one of the two, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it could be either. Knowing Scott, I'm going with the old age thing.
Yeah, you know what? I'll be nice and I'll say it's the old age thing. How funny is that? I'll be nice and I'll say it's the old age thing.
Let's see.
You're the John Wayne Gacy route. I think it's based in an old age home. So there you go. Scott, we love you.
Yeah. Well, speak for yourself. I tolerate him.
I was just being polite. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So, I gave a lot of thought to what we could talk about, and then, as usual, the fucking internet dropped something right in my lap. As it usually does. So, Jerry, I don't know if you saw anything posted about this today. Warning all you pussies out there, I'm about to mention a comic book spoiler about Captain America. So you might want to, stop listening for a few minutes so you don't have to cry yourself to sleep tonight because I spoiled something for you, You can leave your mom's basement for a few minutes and go outside. I think the sun went in by now, so you won't burn up. But anyway, there's a new run of Captain America, or Steve Rogers' Captain America, it's called. And apparently it turns out there's a big reveal. And it turns out that at the very last panel, Captain America says, "Hail Hydra." And it turns out, for the last umpteen years, he has actually been a secret double agent. And my first thought was, that's fucking bold, Yeah. And that's kind of cool. Well, collectively, the internet has lost its shit over this. I think I saw people actually kill themselves because it turns out that Captain America is a bad guy. The nerd rage today is extreme. My browser actually started bleeding. It was fucking crazy. So, John, I don't know what you think. I don't know if you follow comics or whatever, if you follow the storylines. Everybody complains that there's never anything new. And then Marvel says, we're going to go completely off the reservation and try something completely radical. And everybody goes, how could they do that? It's Captain America. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I guess people need to get their panties out of a twist. I mean, the nice thing about comics, or I guess the bad thing about comics, is nothing's ever etched in stone. You know what I mean? One day a character's a bad guy, or the next day he's a good guy, one day he's dead, the next day he's alive. So, for all of you who feel like, oh, this is the end of the world, we might be having this conversation, Todd, like 2 years from now, and it turns out he was like a double agent or something like that.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So let's not get too crazy about it, right? It's just a comic book, and we'll see where it goes from here, right?
Yeah, well, that was my whole thing anyway. Is they're just going to retcon it in 6 months anyway?
Exactly. Right?
And not only that, like, did people forget that at one point they actually killed Captain America?
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Guess what? He's back. Just kidding.
Superman was dead. Batman had his back broken. Blah 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 blah. I mean, they have to do these things, I think, just to keep people's attention, right, and their interest. And you're so right with the retcon thing. I mean, 6 months from now, it'll just be like, oh, it was Bucky was having a dream sequence or some shit like that. It's just crazy like that.
Yeah, and look, and so immediately when I posted something about it, everybody had to attack me and say, look, I'm entitled to my opinion. Yes, we fucking get it. You're entitled to your precious, precious opinion. I get reminded of that 100 times a day, that we're all entitled to our opinions. And you're right. Like, if you don't care for the particular storyline, all right. But to get so apoplectic over it, I mean, and let's face it, I'm a big nerd as they come, but it's a fucking comic book.
Right.
Like, did someone come to your house and insult your mother to your face?
Yeah.
Like, how dare you? So just the nerds are out in force today. Direct all your hate mail to me.
Well, I mean, and at the same time, they're playing into Marvel's hands, right? They're just loving the controversy of it, right? It's instead of talking about the movies, they're talking about the comics, which is in a way is a nice thing, right? Because I feel like everything with the superheroes nowadays, it's all about the movies. People sort of forget about the source material. Here, they're trying to mix things up a little bit, and they're actually getting attention, and that's a refreshing change of pace in a way.
Exactly, and you are completely right. And anybody who thinks that Marvel didn't know exactly what they were doing, everybody was like, "Oh, this is dumb. This is going to be the end of Marvel." I'm like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, you're right. This is it. This is it, folks. Forget about all the movies that are scheduled for the next 500 years. This is the end of Marvel.
Yeah. Stan Lee's going to cry himself to sleep on a pile of money tonight.
Exactly.
You're all upset that this is the end of Marvel, right?
Yeah. So, speaking of Scott, I wonder, being that he's not on the podcast, I wonder what he's doing, like, right at this exact moment. Is he moving? Is he rubbing one out? Is he,
Why does it have to be one or the other? I mean,
well, that's true.
Maybe he's got a chair in one hand and his cock in the other. And he's multitasking.
Yeah, sir, where would you like to? Sir. Oh, come on now already. I realize it's a new place and all, but could you wait to christen it?
Yeah, exactly. He's already lost his deposit in more ways than one.
Sorry, sir. We ran a black light through your apartment. There will be no refund on your security deposit.
5 minutes later, he just couldn't help himself. He was really excited to get his new place.
Exactly. Wow.
Well,
yeah, that was a pleasant thought for tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Can we go back to talking about Captain America, please?
Yeah. Okay. Oh man. So I see that you are going to be working on a new short film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually set in feudal Japan.
That's right.
Which I thought was pretty cool, but where in the hell did that come from?
Where did it come from? It was
Spit it out.
I'm trying to. That's right.
So to speak.
That's something Scott's not saying right now. But, I've always enjoyed films by Kurosawa, and I've always enjoyed horror films. And just for whatever reason, one night I thought, well, what if I tried to do a mashup of something like a samurai film with a horror film? I initially had started to write it as a samurai zombie film, but I just thought something like that had been done to death. And I went with something a little more quiet, which was the idea of a samurai ghost film. And I wrote it up with thinking, every once in a while you need to sit down and write something and with the expectation it's never going to get made, but that shouldn't discourage you from trying it anyway. So I wrote it up, never thought it would go anywhere. I shared it with some friends. And you know John, and you know Sanj from Cafe Z. I've become friends with them thanks to Cafe Z, in fact. And I shared it with them, and they wanted to try it. And just for whatever reasons, the stars were right, the planets aligned. We were able to find a place where we could shoot it, where it would look authentic. We were able to find a cast so that it wouldn't look like it wasn't authentic. And we're moving forward with it. We're going to start shooting next month. It's I'm really nervous about it, quite frankly. It's the first time I'm going to try to direct something I've written myself. So it's a big challenge, but it's going to be different. I think it's going to be a different film than what you would normally see on the indie circuit. At least that's my expectation.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, you know how much I loved Painkiller?
Yeah.
And if you recall some of the questions that you were asked when we screened Painkiller and some of the questions I asked you, my question is, for this upcoming film, what other films will you be ripping off in order to fill out this one? I would just like to get that out of the way now.
I would say, and I was really upfront about this one and everything I've written and everything I talked about. It's probably I mentioned Kurosawa already. I would say Rashomon, if you've seen Rashomon. In fact, I sat down with John and Sanj, who hadn't seen the film, and I showed them Rashomon just to give them a sense of the aesthetic and sort of the plot. I mean, a big part of this film is the whole essence of people telling a story. But what's the real story? What's legend? What's reality? And that's a huge part of Rashomon. You have a story told from the perspective of 4 different people. 3 of them aren't true, and it's sort of the 4th that is. It's the whole idea is that reality is what you make it. The truth is what you say. And okay, so that's a long-winded answer. The short answer is Rashomon. So if you ask me, like, if we had the fortune of screening this at Cafe Z, and you put me on the spot again, I have an answer this time.
Excellent. Excellent.
Why did you ask me what I ripped off for Wrapped, since you're in that one?
Oh, you know what? Although, you know what? It was just so obvious that I don't really feel the need to even ask about it. No, I'm just kidding. I actually Wrapped. You know, all kidding aside for 3 seconds, I thought it was actually a very cool idea, you know, without giving anything away to the audience. I just thought it was simple, you know, it was simple, but at the same time, it was really cool and something different, you know, and thank God, because as much as I love certain genres and I love some of the work that my friends are doing or have done, I'm sick of fucking zombies, man. I really am.
Same here. Which is another reason why when I started to write, well, it's called Kashakunin, the film we were just talking about, the samurai film. At the end, it was going to be sort of a zombie film, and I was like, man, who needs another fucking zombie film? Do you know what I mean? Even if it's set in Japan, if it involves samurais, it's still just derivative of the same old shit. Why don't we try something different? So I ripped off a totally different movie, which I'm very proud of.
Hey, listen, now you can be more like Quentin Tarantino all the time. You know, oh, wait, excuse me. He doesn't rip other films off. He pays homage to those films. I forgot.
That's right.
I'm sorry to all the Quentin Tarantino fans out there. It's an homage. You know, I lose this argument every time. I don't hate Quentin Tarantino. I like his work for the most part. Mm-hmm. I've seen all his movies. I dig them. They are shot beautifully. Mm-hmm. They are usually very well written, but let's face it. Like, I mean, I'm not going to do people's homework for them, but you can go on the internet and find like scenes that were directly lifted from other movies.
Oh yeah.
And when he gets called on it, he says, well, this is my homage to spaghetti westerns. This is my homage to blaxploitation films or kung fu films. Mm-hmm. And that's how he gets away with it every goddamn time. Yep. And it drives me crazy.
I think where he gets away from it is, I agree. The aesthetics are there. The shots are there. The overall sensibilities are there. It's just, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one to try and compare Tarantino to Shakespeare, right? But if you know anything about Shakespeare, just about every Shakespeare story, or I should say play, was based on something else. Like, none of Shakespeare's ideas in and of themselves were original. It was the dialogue that was so beautiful. And that's where I give Tarantino a pass, because his dialogue is so brilliant that I let the other things slide. If they're actually based on the works of other things, or in some cases, like direct ripoffs of other things, yeah, that's not great artistically, but he brings something to the table where I can kind of turn my eye away from that, just like I would with, again, Shakespeare. I hate to make that comparison, but that's how I look at it.
Well, I read a very interesting article the other day about Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And it was about how when Star Wars came out, and even to this day, 30, 40 years later, it's still lauded. But and the article really broke it down. Like, there are scenes, like, even from the scroll in the beginning, mm-hmm. the vertical scroll was lifted directly from Flash Gordon. Mm-hmm. And there are other scenes that are lifted from Kurosawa and other filmmakers. So it wasn't a knock against Lucas. It was just pointing out that everything is influenced by something else or derived from something else. Mm-hmm. And while I believe that, then it got me thinking, well, how far back would you have to go? Like, let's take just the hero's journey, standard, cinematic theme. Where did someone had to think of it first.
Right.
So how far back do you go? Plato, Aristotle, I don't know, the very first poets. Mm-hmm. I don't knock people, because something references something else. Because that, to me, is just silly, Direct plagiarism, I have a problem,
Yeah.
If you're going to lift entire lines or something. But I just wish, I just want to break sometimes about the whole Tarantino thing. Like, people worship at the altar of Tarantino, and sometimes I just don't get it.
I think hero worship to any extent is probably...
Wait, Jerry, I don't mean to cut you off, but ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this broadcast for a very special announcement. We have another participant in the insanity with us. You know him from his bare-chested push-ups in Day 9. Director, actor, writer, Tom Ryan, and he dropped right off. Stop it.
Did you say the bare-chested push-ups from Gay 9? Where Scott's spending his evening.
The little-known porn parody of Day 9.
Gay 9.
Right. Yeah. So, wait a second, ladies and gentlemen. We're waiting for Mr. Thomas Ryan to join us. Apparently, working his computer is above his grade level.
This is the guy who's editing Wrapped as we speak.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very comforting. That's comforting.
So, well, the good news is he's not doing the soundtrack and the sound effects. So,
okay. We could get some Vlad the Inhaler tracks on there. That wouldn't be a bad thing. We'll just plug everybody while we're doing this show.
Yeah, what the hell? Listen, I'm all about shameless self-promotion.
Should we continue the conversation while we're waiting?
Let's go for it until he figures this shit out.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So just to get back to what you're saying about how many original ideas are there left, and at what point in time is something derivative of something else. I was at a convention one time, and Robert Englund was speaking. He's just one of the nicest guys you'd ever get to meet at a convention, and it was right around the time when the Nightmare on Elm Street remake was coming out, which of course got vilified right out of the gate. And people in the audience were asking, well, what do you think of the remake? And England's too nice of a guy to actually bash it. What he ended up saying was, there are only so many stories we could tell around the campfire, right? At some point in time, whether we like remakes or hate remakes, everything's been told. So where do you go from there? Do you sort of tell the same story over and over again, but put your own spin on it? And this gets back to what we were discussing before when you asked me about, what were the, inspirations for Painkiller. Sounds like somebody's there.
Yeah, so all that noise and nonsense you hear in the background is probably Tom trying to figure out how to work his fucking microphone.
Either that or he's suffocating somebody. Oh,
Well,
It was really complex issue. I had, you guys could hear me all right, right? Good. Yeah, just a little technical issue. I had the headphone jack plugged into the microphone port and the microphone jack plugged into the headphone port. So I made some calls to customer support, got an IT guy to drive over, leave dinner, get over to my house, take care of it. So yeah.
great. So, Tom, we were discussing your latest film, which I understand is a porn parody of Day 9 called Gay 9. And we're wondering how that's coming along.
how's it coming?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, Todd, did you reveal that you were the star of the film? And because you didn't, so I'll be adding those details. Yeah, Todd's in with 8 other guys, and therefore Gay 9. There's 9 of them in the film, and it's it's pretty good so far.
Nice. I've been gearing up for the soggy biscuit scene.
Yeah. Oh God. Wait till the umbrella routine. It's going to be.
Did you find a place that rents donkeys yet?
No, but I will Google that. And
Scott is going to be so pleased when he hears this. That's it, Todd. Your days as co-host are over.
My show's done too, so let's go out with a blast, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. So what's cooking, man? What's going on? How are you guys?
Good.
Man. Good.
Good. We were just discussing how Jerry rips off other films.
Oh, you noticed it too, huh?
Especially with Rap.
Yeah.
What a hack piece of shit Wrapped was. I mean, not an original thought in that entire film.
Well, we suffered through the shoot. We got it done, and now we can put that behind us.
Yes.
Yeah, let's put that nightmare to bed, shall we?
Actually, in all honesty, Rap was a really fun film to do, and I want to talk about it a little bit because to me the film really felt like it had the energy of a true indie. Russell Hackett, who's co-wrote that with Jerry and who starred in the film and produced the film, and it was just exciting for me to see this guy have such a great experience the first go around, because I know a lot of people haven't had that experience. I know, Jerry, we've discussed that in the past, and you've made that public knowledge.
You think? Yeah.
It was great. It was just a great, fun short, shot in 3 days. Basically, what was it, like 3 locations? Yeah, 3 days, 3 locations, and just a lot of fun. We accomplished a lot when we shot, and Russ learned a lot, and that was fun, and I learned a lot, and I think just the approach to the film was something that I appreciate from everybody, because Jerry obviously was one of the writers on the film, and Diane was a producer, and Russ a producer and acting, and also one of the writers, and there was just a good flow of thoughts and ideas and about how we wanted to do scenes, and I mean, you guys have seen the sneak preview of the film, so I mean, you could basically see that. I think that translated on screen too.
And yeah, let's not forget that Todd's in it as well.
Yeah. I
Todd's in it. That's a spoiler alert, but yeah.
yeah, spoiler alert.
Well, he's in the trailer, so
Yeah. Listen, I just want to say I had a great time as well. I've been around a lot of indie film productions at this point, and this one, with the exception of Tom's directing and Jerry's acting, it was the best one I have ever been on, ever.
I'm always
So,
happy to drag down a production. It's sort of what it's on my resume.
But hey, look, listen. It was great to have Todd on board and part of the project. I mean, number one, he was just a big fat guy to carry heavy shit around the set, so that was great. You know, we could always use one of those on set, and he put money into the film, so we felt committed to giving him a part into the freaking thing. You know, so yeah, just to divulge what was going on, and the script called for an ugly guy, so Todd popped into my mind. He's a friend of mine. I said, this is the guy that we need. So I appreciate Todd being a part of that.
Yeah,
I bought my way in, folks. I freely admit it.
Yeah. We wrote that in the script too. It said extremely unattractive guy enters room. We interviewed. What do we like? We interviewed like 20 people, I think, before we cast Todd in that. Yeah, so he really was a standout. God, we're a bunch of ball busters, aren't we?
The craziest thing was when I came out of makeup and everybody said to the makeup crew, "When are you going to actually do the makeup?" Like, no, it's done. He's ready.
Yeah. He's ready. No, but in all seriousness, Todd killed it. It was a great part for him. It was a lot of fun. I'm trying to think. I think that was actually a little tidbit that's kind of funny. People haven't seen the film yet, so it really won't sink in. But Todd played the part that Jerry had originally asked me to play, and I told Jerry, I said, I kind of want to just direct this one and not worry about playing one of the more prominent characters in the film. And I says, well, why not Todd, man? I think this is kind of his character. This kind of fits him well. And Todd killed it, man. He came out and did an awesome job. I know you had a blast. And we got to get Olivia some screen time, which was cool.
Yeah, for everyone who doesn't know, Olivia is my daughter. She's 11, and she is an aspiring makeup artist. So she wanted to come to the set to just see how some of the effects were done and how the makeup was done. And Lisa and Ed Fisk of Rotten Candy Effects did an amazing job on the effects, first of all, but they were very kind and patient with her, and they showed her how everything was done, and she had a blast. And then when she was watching us film a particular scene, Tom said, "Oh, well, why don't we just give her a line in the film?" And she just immediately went and told all of her friends that she was in a movie. Of course, one that a bunch of 10-year-olds will never be able to watch. But she had a great time, and it was a really fun experience for her. This is why my ex-wife hates me, because I'm the cool parent.
Oh, is that why?
Well, that's one of the many reasons. But sure, be the cool parent. You put her in a movie, you let her do special effects. I'm like, well, what can I tell you?
Hard to compete with that.
Yeah.
So now you're co-hosting with Jerry tonight, is that right?
Yes, this is the Imaginarium Hijack edition. Scott is off touching himself somewhere while he's moving into his new apartment at the convalescent home. So I took over the broadcast today, and I said, who better to help out with the insanity than Jerry? And then it popped into my head. I said, look, let's have a surprise guest. let's have Tommy on. He's usually good to throw a wrench into the works and fuck everything up. So
Right. When you're aiming low, call me.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, we took over the podcast for today, and everyone, it's been a great being your co-host. I'm pretty sure this is my last day.
We both do a show. We both do a show with Scott, so I think we're both fired after this.
Probably, yeah. Scott's got to be like, up, time for a team meeting, guys.
Yeah, we're going to go in a new direction now.
Yeah.
Thanks for your contributions.
Next thing you know, every single one of our episodes is gone off the website. Sorry, guys, I needed the disk space.
Exactly.
Oh man, so what are we talking about tonight, man? Are we talking about movies? Are we talking about TV shows? Are we talking about beer? Are we talking about
So talk about any of those things if we want.
Anything. We talked about at the very top of the show, we talked about how people are losing their minds over the Captain America reveal, the storyline where Captain America, spoiler alert, is now a bad guy, and people are just losing their shit over it. I don't want to rehash it. I mean, Tom, feel free to weigh in on that. People are going bananas over it.
Yeah, did you guys already discuss this at all? Because I don't want to.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so I won't beat a dead horse, but I read a little bit about it, and apparently they're going back to like his history, like saying he was always an agent of Hydra, which is a little strange because it kind of means like all those comics after that, like then why is he like fighting the Red Skull and Hydra? Just kind of weird. Like, is he trying to get that deep? I don't know. Whatever. It was just kind of a strange thing. But with that being said, I don't collect comics anymore. I don't really read Captain America, but these comics, I used to collect Captain America, but these comic companies have always kind of done stuff like this. Like guys die, they come back to life, they change bodies, they get a replacement. Like there's a new Captain America for a while, or there's a new Batman for a while, or whatever. They always try to do something to reboot interest in it, and then of course they wait until the story goes off on the deep end, and then they just reset to the classics again, right? Golden Age. Remember that was a big thing with DC, Golden Age, and you're going back to these guys and in their classic form. So, people got a lot of free time on their hands to worry about stuff like that. I mean, how many people actually collect Captain America? I don't know. Is it in trouble? Maybe the comic hasn't been doing that well. I'm just speculating here, but maybe it was something that they felt they were going to jumpstart it. They want to do something completely opposite of what the movies are doing because they'll think it's going to be all controversial. I don't know what they're thinking, but I mean, for crying out loud, it's a comic book story. Let's wait for the next 100 issues or whatever when sales go low, and then suddenly Captain America is back to the way he was, or that was an imposter or whatever. Who you know how these things go. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like Jerry and I both said earlier, in a few months they'll just retcon it anyway. And start all over again with something new. It was a dream sequence, or Cap hit his head and he hallucinated it. Like whatever. Like, it's comics. They do whatever the fuck they want. Well,
we've talked about this before. I think it's getting out of hand that a lot of fans of these things feel that they own them somehow, and they throw tantrums when they don't fit their little fantasy world about how perfect they want that idea. I mean, it's art, it's fluid, it's going to change. You could like what you like and always hold on to that, but at the same time, people, they just have this I don't know, this ownership over some of their favorite stuff, which I think is, look, we could all be disappointed in stuff. Like I saw the Lethal Weapon trailer, right? And I'm a huge fan of Lethal Weapon. And I just kind of looked at it and I just kind of thought it was like, it looked like it would have been a cool show if I never saw the movies Lethal Weapon, right? But I just kind of saw it and I was like, it's kind of hard to watch that. And but on the flip side, I saw the MacGyver trailer and I thought that looked kind of cool, So it's just, it was just, but I don't lose my shit over it. You know what I mean, man? I don't go crazy over this stuff. It's like, take it or leave it, man. It's, it's a free country. You don't have to watch it.
Exactly, and along those lines, I have never seen hate and opposition as high as it is with the Ghostbusters, the upcoming Ghostbusters movie. I mean, my look, I actually want to see it. I'm going to give it a shot. I think it could actually turn out to be good. I know there are a legion of people out there that are waiting, just fucking waiting to go see it for no other reason than so they can say how much they hated it and how they were right all along. It's all about validation for people. I was right. It sucks. Well, you know what? I've said all along, if your childhood can so easily be ruined by a movie, then your childhood sucked. Yeah, I mean, I love, and I don't worship at the altar of nostalgia the way some people do. I love all my 80s movies, Ghostbusters, Stripes, Porky's, you name it. But when we look back at them, we have to like take off the rose-colored glasses sometimes. And you look at, there people are bitching about the effects in the new Ghostbusters. Go back and watch the special effects in the first Ghostbusters and let me know how good you think they are.
Yeah, ridiculous. I agree 100%. I mean, there's a ton of, films that I love, classics as well, but a part of them being classics to me is how campy they are and how low budget they are. I mean, everybody love, well, not everybody, but I mean, a lot of people I know love, Flash Gordon, and those are some of the worst effects that you could have, but it just adds, but that's what was so great about it. At the same time, it just, when you were a kid, you just bought into that whole fantasy. It didn't matter. And that's a problem, is like they're so spoiled today. They don't realize that. I've always said this about the superhero franchises. And Jerry, feel free to interject anytime. But like I said, with the superhero franchises, people really complain about some of these movies and saying how terrible they are. And I'm saying, you have no idea what it was like to live in a world where you couldn't put anything like that on the big screen or even come close. And what we would have given to see these movies when we were kids, man, we're watching Spider-Man jump around in long underwear, throwing ropes at walls. You know what I mean? And it's the Hulk. But yeah, I mean, that's the point, is that people don't realize what they have now. And it's so, of course, everybody's spoiled, man, and they just complain about these things all the time. But of course, look, and here's my opinion. I was very disappointed when I heard about the new Ghostbusters film and heard that it wasn't going to be about the original Ghostbusters, because like anybody else, I was a fan of the original Ghostbusters. But at the same time, I saw the trailer. It looked fun. I don't know if I'll go to the theater to see it, but I would definitely rent it or get it on demand or whatever and watch it. Just because it looks like it's going to be a fun movie. I mean, I know that the premise is fun, and the worst that could happen is that it's not really, it's not really funny. Maybe you're not into the comedy. Maybe it's corny. Maybe the time, you know what I mean? Maybe you saw all the funniest parts in the commercials. I don't know. But you might check it out and say, you know what, that was really, really well done, and enjoy it. What can you say, man? Everybody's got an opinion,
Yeah, I think my issue with the Ghostbusters film is that if you do look at the trailer and you go, it doesn't look too good, people might automatically say, well, you're a sexist. And it's like, well, that's not why I'm reacting the way I'm reacting. I just don't think it looks like a very good film. It doesn't matter to me that they replace the cast with women. That's not what I'm reacting to. I mean, if you were to, like you said, Tom, you looked at the Lethal Weapon trailer, the remake, and you thought, it's not great. But if you had the same reaction and they replaced them with women, then they might say, well, yeah, of course you don't like it. You're a sexist. Well, that's not what you're reacting to at all. And as far as the effects go, I just think there's a feeling in the community about practical effects versus CGI. Yes, the effects in Ghostbusters weren't great, but they were all practical effects. So for the time, they were pretty high tech. And then you kind of look at what they have going on with the new one, and it's all CGI, of course, like everything else is. So there was that. It's not so much of whether the effects are good or bad. It's just, I think it's a matter of personal taste. In my heart, I'm always going to be, give me Ray Harryhausen over CGI. That's just the way I am, and because of my age. But that doesn't mean one style is better than the other style.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I'm kind of on that level too. When I watch something, I do. I will enjoy watching Jason and the Argonauts. I love it. Or Clash of the Titans. I love watching that, or even like Empire Strikes Back. And I'm talking about effects wise. Like I enjoy that. You're right. And But at the same time, I mean, I could watch a film that's got great CGI like any of the Jurassic Park films, and I enjoy those just as much. Yeah, I mean, what's preferable? Again, it has to do with taste, but I wouldn't say that a movie or a production is wrong for pursuing it because, I mean, look, what kind of practical effects could you do on that level, where in Jurassic Park you have dinosaurs running through the jungle at high speeds, fighting with each other? I mean, you can't do that practically unless you're doing it like stop motion or something to those effects. And if they could get better with that, I'm sure they've gotten real good with it. But if it works, it works. You know what I mean? And you guys know this on the production side. Unfortunately, it saves money. Now, CGI could be very expensive, but think about practical effects on that level of what they're doing, of what they're creating with CGI. Imagine the sets, the backdrops, things that we take for granted. You're watching, Lord of the Rings, which a lot of it, of course, is in New Zealand or whatever. But when they're creating like these elven, castles and stuff within the trees, I mean, it's awesome stuff. It's all inspiring stuff, and but of course, I love practical effects because there's just that artist touch to it, and I enjoy that as well. But it all comes down to money when it comes to those films, and you can't hold it against the production company or against the process. That's just the way it is.
Oh, by the way, guys, I just got word that Scott somehow heard we were making fun of him, and he was going to come on and yell at us, but then his false teeth fell out, so. He's got to go get that taken care of. So he'll be out of commission for a while.
Yeah.
He
broke his hip trying to pick up his teeth after they fall out.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't want to say Scott is old or anything, but the first novel that he ever wrote was chiseled into fucking rock. So
it's written in hieroglyphics.
That's why he lives in Arizona. He wants to live close to where his first story was chiseled into the side of a mountain. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
You go and see it. Yeah. The show is nothing if not educational.
That's right.
So yeah, just sorry, I had to interject there.
No,
these little tidbits of information.
It's good to know.
All right, so I just thought of something that we could do. Little known facts about ourselves. So we'll just give like a tidbit. Like we have a lot of friends that listen to the podcast, all three of them. And I thought maybe they would be interested. So, Tom, what is a little known fact about yourself?
Oh, do I have to start? I was hoping one of you guys would start. I was hoping one of the hosts would start.
No, I drew it randomly from, completely random order.
From your ass. A little known fact about me. Okay. Here's one. I mean, you know this, but I don't know if a lot of people know this, but
about the mole on your ass? Yes, I know about that one. Can we do something different?
K9 coming soon to a theater near you.
Come on, no. In all seriousness, Todd and I actually slept together at a chiller one time. I was auditioning him for Gay 9. Auditioning for Gay 9, and but that night it was 14 guys.
Wait. Let me take my pants off for this story.
Why do you have to bring up the past all the time? God damn it.
Okay, no. So look, a little known fact. Let me get this show back on track. A little known fact.
Was it on track?
My mom is from Cuba.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Did not know that either.
Oh, you didn't know that, Todd?
Nope.
Oh, I thought I told you that. Okay, yeah. That's a little known fact about me.
Jerry, you're up.
I was born with a condition known as pectus excavatum, which means hollow chest. My chest sinks into my body. My breastbone curves inward.
Huh.
Top that. Yes, I'm a freak. I'm a freak. I could be in a sideshow if I were not doing this for a living.
So you won't be doing any topless scenes anytime soon, I hope, right? Or...
Not well, it depends on the money. I never say never. No, but actually, you bring that up. I don't take my shirt off at the beach. I have a pool. I won't even take my shirt off in my backyard. I'm actually quite embarrassed by it.
Really? How bad? I mean, is it pretty bad, or is it?
I actually had. It used to be worse. I had surgery on it when I was a kid. It used to be really bad, but it was so severe they couldn't even fix it. So they made it a bit better, but it's still noticeable. Yeah.
Huh.
I got to see this now.
Yeah.
Well, just go to Wikipedia, look in Pectus excavatum, and you'll get a sense of what that looks like.
Huh.
I'll put it in the chat while you guys are talking, so you can start gagging in the middle of the conversation.
Huh. Wow, my third nipple is not nearly as exciting now.
Well, don't sell yourself short.
I mean, Tom, you knew about that.
No, Todd, I was always behind you. Sorry, I know.
Next question.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But for the record, everybody, for the record, Tom always gives the reach around. Always, every single time.
That's a gentleman.
It is every single time. Okay, so I have on this. Hold on.
I did it already, but
Holy Mother of God.
Jerry, is it this severe as in this picture?
No, before the operation, it was that severe. When I was a kid, and when I was a kid, that's pretty much what it looked like. In fact, the first time I looked at that picture, I thought, "Is that me?" Because the guy's kind of built like I am. But yeah, that's what it kind of used to look like.
Wow.
Well, I fucking played it. So tune in next week, ladies and gentlemen.
You gotta love Wikipedia, right?
Well, you wanted me to admit something nobody knew. I should have gone with something else.
This is how you can tell Wikipedia can be edited by anybody. Pectus excavatum is sometimes referred to as cobbler's chest, sunken chest, the crevasse, funnel chest, or as having a dent in one's chest. Is that the fucking medical term for it? Yeah.
Your chest is fucked up. Yeah.
Wow.
I feel bad enough about it already. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we get the point.
Mine was not really nearly as interesting. But in the opening scene of The Godfather, in the wedding scene, there are two little girls in white dresses, twins. They are cousins of mine. That's my little connection with The Godfather.
Can we rewind and re-record a portion of this? Because I think I want to change my answer.
Yeah.
I think I went into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah.
My mother was in Cuba or something like that, or I kind of have like a distant celebrity relative as opposed to I was born a freak of nature. I think I misunderstood the question and maybe went a little overboard there.
Listen, let's see. Tom went with my mom is from Cuba. Todd went with I have some relatives who were in a famous movie. Jerry went with I'm a hideous freak.
Wow, I should have gone last. Oh, man.
Well, what's kind of interesting about that, Jerry, is that my father has something similar to that. Nowhere near as extreme as in that photo. But what he said is what he explained it as was when he was a kid, he crashed his bike and the bike handle went right into his pelvic area. And he kind of had a dent right there. And ever since. So, but it wasn't like the entire chest. It was just kind of like a round area right in the center. So I've seen something like that before. Nothing as extreme as in the link that you sent us, but that was pretty extreme.
Okay, man.
Moving right along.
Well, I think I know what our next movie is going to be about.
Well, I always think like the chest burster scene in Alien, how it would be so simple for a makeup guy to do that with me because he has all that extra space to play with. You know, he can actually put like something. Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to put that link up with the when we put up.
We absolutely will. I will be sure to put your family album a link up when we
Me and the Elephant Man and
Jerry's family tree is a lot more interesting than we
family
thought.
reunion. It's the Siamese twins and the Yellow Man.
One of us.
Exactly. It's gonna be like American Horror Story, you know, like somebody's wandering around no legs, and sorry, go ahead. Let's change the subject.
Why don't you give us another little known fact, man?
What the fuck? You want me to top that one?
Is it one each? I mean, is it one? Was that the big reveal? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you think I could top that? Yes, I have a twin living in my scrotum. I didn't want to go to that one. I thought it might be a little much, but yeah.
Oh my God, Scott, I'm sorry. Yeah, but I'm not really. That's what you get for not being on your own podcast.
It's again for moving.
We've learned a valuable lesson here, haven't we?
Yeah, we sure did. One is don't be too honest.
I also want to tell everybody that's listening that our band Vlad the Inhaler, our second album is dropping this summer. 11 songs, all original, all insanity. People are going to love it. It's going to be great. Anyway, it's coming out this summer. Vlad the Inhaler. Check us out on Facebook or VladTheInhaler.com. Reverb Nation.
Anything else, Tom? Any other? Any other?
Yeah, if you want to order a copy of our first album, you can email me, tomr666@comcast.net.
Nice.
And if you need a freak for your child's birthday party, feel free to hit me up on Facebook. I'll shave my head and show up topless and give your kids something to talk about in therapy for years to come.
Wow. God.
There you go.
This interview is sponsored by Theater of Terror. Few cheap plugs.
Yeah, hey, listen. One thing on this podcast is we are all about shameless self-promotion. That's for sure. Yeah. So, all right, dudes, we'll wind it down, and in honor of the fact that Scott is not with us, let's go around the horn and just come up. Let's say a few words each about our illustrious podcast host, Scott Colbert. Jerry, why don't you go first on this one?
I'd be happy to. We really busted Scott's chops quite a bit throughout the show, and it's only because I know he can take it. He's a great guy. I met him. We talk about shameless self-promotion. I met him when he was kind enough to have me on his show to talk about Painkiller way back when, and we kind of hit it off. And I know that's kind of how we met him too, right, guys? We did like the one Halloween show or the Horror Roundtable.
Yep.
And because of that, we formed that friendship with him. I'm glad we did. I think the world of the guy. I bought his book off of Amazon. If we're gonna promote our own shit, Barbed Wire Kisses, go on Amazon, check out Scott's book. He's a fantastic author, and I'm not just saying that. I bought the book and I thought, well, I guess I got to think of something nice to say once I read it, and I read it, and it wasn't like that at all. It was actually a really good book, and it's a real honor for me to do a show with him once a month. It's something I really look forward to. It's an honor for me today to kind of sit in for him, and he's a great guy. There's nothing else I can say.
All right, Tommy.
After that speech, it sounds like he gives good head too, huh, Jerry? Jesus Christ. Anyway, no, Scott's a great guy. Scott, I've been on the show with Scott before you were actually a co-host, Todd. Scott had me on, and that's back when I was promoting Faces, and that was a ton of fun. And then it was great when you came on the show and you guys started working together and really added a cool little dimension to the show. You got to reach out more though, man. Like I said, I don't see the postings a lot. But Scott's always a lot of fun. He unfriended me on Facebook because I was just making a lot of gay jokes, and he couldn't take that. I'm just kidding. But hopefully I can get on the show again when Scott's here. I thought that maybe you took this advantage to get me on the show so we could talk bad about Scott behind his back, and so I jumped all over that. So yeah, excellent. So I appreciate that opportunity, and no, but shout out to Scott. Can't wait to hear him back on the show. Hope he enjoys this one. It was a lot of fun, and have me on again, man. And let's talk more.
Well, we absolutely will. Just so you guys know, we're planning on doing some sort of a collaboration show again, another sort of roundtable show. So we definitely will have you guys back on.
Great.
I just want to give a big shout out to Scott. Again, I was part of that horror roundtable, and then I did my own. Scott interviewed me, and then he asked me to be a co-host, and I don't use flabbergasted a lot. It's a word I wish would make a comeback, but I was honored and surprised that he asked me to be a co-host. I consider myself very fortunate that I even get to do any of the things that I get to do. I get to make movies with you guys. You guys let me, play make-believe with you guys. We hang out a lot, and I get to do a podcast with Scott, who's a great guy. And we have a lot of fun, and I am truly grateful that he allows me to be a co-host. I had a great time hijacking the show for a week. It was great having you guys on. Thanks for the laughs. So in winding down, I want to thank everyone for listening. I want to thank Jerry and Tom for being on and for making it fun. Please check out the Imaginarium on iTunes and the Google Play Store. Download our episodes, leave us a rating. You can also check out the Imaginarium and all of our other great podcasts, including the one Jerry does with Scott called Weekend Matinee. I got that right, didn't I, Jerry?
Close. It's Weekday Matinee.
Weekday Matinee. And all the other podcasts on the Supernauts Network at thesupernauts.com. And as Scott would say in closing the show, may all your journeys be filled with pure imagination.